Hello, my name is Steve. Back in 2019, I started with some tremors in my left hand, and about a year later, I had an official diagnosis of Parkinson's. I decided to start a video series to bring awareness to this disease and help others going through the same thing. Please consider subscribing. If you could give it a like or share this out, that would be great. I'd love to hear your comments below. Let's get into it. Hey, hello again, and thank you for taking the time to tune in and listen to me talk about Parkinson's. Part of what I want to do with this channel is document my progression through this chronic disease. So today, I'm going to talk about my current symptoms and treatments. I'd also like to give you a little history and background as to what has happened over the past couple of years. It started with the occasional tremors in my left hand, especially when I was using my right hand while cooking for stirring or shaving or things like that. I did a Google search and found that one of the causes could be tennis elbow, which I had had off and on for several years. I waited until the next time I went to my doctor and discussed it with her. She referred me to have an EMG to make sure that there wasn't any nerve damage, and that test came back negative. She then sent me to a neurologist who first thought it could be a reaction to Lipitor, a high cholesterol medication I was on at the time. She took me off of Lipitor, and for a short time, actually, the symptoms seemed to improve. But that didn't last long, and the tremors in my left hand came back, and I started having tremors in my left leg and my bottom lip. Went back to the neurologist, and this time she sent me to have an MRI done of my brain. That also came back negative, of course. And the next step was to put me on carbidopa-levodopa, a Parkinson's medication that adds dopamine to the brain. And immediately I had a positive reaction to the medication. In my follow-up with the neurologist, she did that finger tapping test and had me walk down the hallway and noted that my left hand didn't tap the same as my right hand, and I had a slowness of gait with my left leg. So that's when she gave me the diagnosis of early onset of Parkinson's, and that was almost a year ago. Along with taking carbidopa-levodopa, I started exercising more regularly. Apple Fitness Plus had just been released, so I subscribed to that and started using my treadmill a few times a week for 30-minute walks, and worked up to running 3 or 4 times a week. I added yoga, HIIT, strength training, and core exercises. My neurologist also introduced me to Rock Steady Boxing, which I found at NeuroFit Gym, and started going to that, and also started acupuncture treatments. A couple months later, I switched from carbidopa-levodopa to Nupro, a transdermal patch that acts like dopamine, and everything seemed to be fine. Shortly after being on Nupro, though, I started having some sleep issues. I was getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, and one time I fell asleep at the wheel at a red light at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I started taking some CBD and using essential oils to help me try and sleep better. And I was able to get 4 to 5 hours of sleep most nights. I also got my medical marijuana card and started taking THC with CBD, which helped me to sleep an hour or 2 more. Around the same time, I had to change neurologists because the first doctor quit practicing. I stopped the acupuncture treatments because I didn't feel that they were doing much good. And it was around that time I got a hernia and actually had to quit exercising for a while. My symptoms got worse and my mood changed for the worse, and after some counseling for my depression and my surgery to repair the hernia, I started to feel a little bit better. I was able to exercise again, and things have actually been improving ever since. My new neurologist, though, didn't feel my sleep was good and switched me off of Nupro, and I'm transitioning back to carbidopa-levodopa. My tremors have come back more frequent, however, but my sleep and mood have improved tremendously. And actually, today I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life, except for Parkinson's. You may be tempted to think, what is the point in doing all of these treatments and all of this exercise when this disease is going to progress and there is no cure? To explain that, let me tell you about my sister Susan. She was a few years older than me, and she was a very tiny person. She was less than 5 feet tall and probably never weighed more than 105 pounds in her entire life. But what she lacked in size, she more than made up for in being feisty. In her mid-40s, she got lung cancer and fought her cancer harder than anyone else I have ever seen in my entire life. In talking to her shortly before she died, she told me the reason she fought so hard was for her daughter and everyone in the family. She didn't feel it was fair to any of us if she just quit. And that's the inspiration I use to fight this disease. I hope Sue would be proud of me as I am of her. I am uncertain what the future may hold. I am 58 years old, and my current hope is to keep the symptoms of this disease under some sort of control for as long as I can. I love to travel and spend time doing things with my family. I want to continue to do that for many, many more years because I'm married to a wonderful, loving, and supportive wife. I have 2 grown children and 2 stepchildren. I have a career that I enjoy and work with some of the best people I have ever met. I have good friends, and I am actively involved in church. I have a very strong faith and know that when I leave this world, I will be in an even better place. Overall, my life is blessed in many, many ways, and I am truly grateful. I want to encourage everyone to exercise more. Get started now, no matter if you have a chronic disease or not. If you're not encouraged to do it for yourself, do it for the loved ones in your life. And if you think you may have Parkinson's or any other chronic disease, I strongly encourage you to speak to your doctor if you haven't done so already. I was hesitant at first, but ultimately considered that if I did have something, I was better to start treating it earlier rather than later. That has turned out to be one of the few times in my life I was 100% correct. My name is Steve, and this is Parkinson's Life.